This is the 28mm Waterloo set from black powder. So this is the start of the process. I've primed these in black because it highlights the details a little more, I believe. So the only thing I've really done is put some flesh tone onto the hands and highlighted that with some shade, flesh shade. So I use this magnifying glass. It's got its own kind of zoom in lens on it. It's got a light on it, but I use this that my daughter's given me. Very nice of her. So I can see the details. So at the moment what I'm doing is I'm painting the faces, the heads on the sprue. I find that a little easier to manage, just using flesh tones, put some details into their hats and do their collars, and then I've got their backpacks to finish off, and then once I put the detail onto the figures that are currently just blue tack to a cork, then I'll assemble them. So what this looks like. I've still got a few to do here, so these need to be based. This French chasseur, a cheval, I've just completed, so I just need to put some detail onto the base and paint that up and put some tuft of grass and highlight it. That isn't coming out too bad, I don't think. These guys, I'm finding these difficult, well, not difficult, I suppose, longer to paint because of the British have got more of an ornate uniform than the French greatcoats. So I put a bit of colour onto the base. What I'll do, I'll let that dry and then highlight it and then put some tufts of grass on there, and then that cheval is complete. So I've got my British Line Infantry then. He's been primed, I've put his hand detail in, and that's just about it. So before I put his head on or his backpack on, so I keep the heads on the sprue so I can paint their details, their hats, their collars. I just find it a little easier to manage that way. And the backpacks are still on the sprue. With the epaulets. And then I'll put them together once I've completed those. So, like I say, I've got them on corks just so I can find it easier to get around the figures. So I'll attempt to paint one up then. I'm going to start off with the red, and the red I'm using is this one, blood red, game colour, acrylic. I find that's a decent red for the uniform on the British Line Infantry. So the brush I'm using is a 00. It's got a nice point on it. I could do with a finer one, to be honest, but this one works for me. So let's make a start then. I'll try not to get it on the straps. I don't want to put too much paint on the figure, because you start losing the detail then. And try not to get it on the epaulets or the cuffs. I don't want the cuffs in blue. You can get these glasses that make it 350 times zoom, which I think I might have to get, because the magnifying glass is alright, but I seem to foul it with my brush now and again, and it throws it off on the figure. I'm not going to paint all the back because the pat back's going on, you're not going to see that. Plus I don't want too much paint there in between the contact points for the glue. And just complete his tunic. So what I'm going to do while I'm waiting for these two to dry their tunics, I'm going to switch over to two that I've already completed that I want to base up. So what I've done is I've cut the base in half. The reason being is if I want to form line with them neck to neck like that, back to back, then that's easy. Whereas I can also form square to meet cavalry charge. So I'm gonna go with 2 per base. So I'm using a little bit of contact adhesive, just a little bit on there, make sure there's no paint underneath on both of these. I'm going to space them out evenly. This guy's got a bit of a strut on, so it looks about right to me. And then it's a matter of letting that dry and then covering the base in PVA glue and then sticking my sand on it and letting that go hard, and then cover it in a diluted PVA glue, and then that go hard, and then you end up with this effect here once it's been painted, and then adding the detail of the grass, etc. So now I'm putting in the straps. So I've done both of the straps. They're a little bit messy, so I need to tidy it up with the blood red on the tunics, and then I'll carry on with the pants. So while I'm waiting for the other 2 to dry, what I'm going to do is go ahead and get these 2 based up. So I've stuck them to the base. So just a little bit of scenic PVA glue. I'm going to water this down. Afterwards, I'll just chuck this on the brush. You haven't got to be too precise because you're going to cover it in sand anyway, or grit, or whatever you're going to use for your base. And then get your sand, and what I'll usually do is I'll just sprinkle it on by hand. Some people dip it in, but I don't want too much on there if I can help it. Give it a little shake, get the excess off it, and then let's take the edges off. And then pug that just to go to set. So the next step then is to water down the PVA glue as much as you can, so it's very runny. So when you apply it to your sand on the base, it just dab it on. Don't drag it. You'll drag the sand off it if it still hasn't set, which this one hasn't. Right, that's good enough. We're gonna leave that overnight now to go and set, and then tomorrow we'll paint that and then add the detail of the grass and the tufts. So this regiment have got a blue and white collar. You can see I've already done the collars in white, but what I need to do now is add the blue. For that I'll be using game colour ultramarine. Seems to be a decent blue to go with the colours for the regiment, so I'll dab on that. What I'm going to do is use this head and this one without the hat on. So I'm going to go ahead and do this collar too. That's about as good as I'm going to get it. If I attempt anything else, I think I'll just make it worse. So that'll do. So now I'm going to paint the backpacks. And for that I'll be using game colour leather brown. I did have London grey on the top, but it doesn't seem to have. It's got a sheen to it, which I don't like. So I'm painting the cuffs on now. You're never going to see that at 3 foot away while they're on the tabletop. But I know it's there and I can't help myself. I've got to get it done. Yep. So what I need to do now is tidy up the red tunics because I've gone over on the straps here and there, so just want to get that sorted out. So use my blood red again. And just take my time, bit of patience here. Okay then, so time to paint the pants. So for that I'm going to use Game Colour Stonewall Grey, which I think is a fair reputation on the colour, used in 1815. Let's start underneath his tunic. I've gone around around the model now. I've just done his boots on both of these guys. I've done a few little touches up. That's about complete, or as far as my skill level will go. I might put a little bit of highlighting in it, a little bit of shading, and then what I'll do is varnish them with matte varnish and then get them ready for basing. So if you like the content, you know, full disclosure, I'm no expert at this, I'm brand new to it. I don't even know the rules to black powder. I need to swap that up, and I'm learning more and more about the Battle of Waterloo, which is fascinating. So if you like it, please subscribe. It's totally free. It doesn't cost any money. Give me a like, and that will help me hopefully get a few more subscribers and carry on with the content. So have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one.